Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About Big Star episode 12.
Wow, 12 already, Rod.
Yeah, would you imagine that? We are 12, so one episode a month. Now we already talk about 12 big star, about their story, about 12 constellation. I'm really happy for what we have done, to be honest. I'll give myself a little bit
I do the same. I do this.
you do the same. Well done, you. Well done, you, Christian. I couldn't do this without you.
Yeah, so am I.
Oh,
Couldn't
okay.
do it with you without you. So
Yeah,
good
yeah,
team.
yeah. We are a good team. Yes. So, I think the things we start to praise each other maybe fit a little bit into today's subject because it's a very Venetian. So we're trying to be nice to each other. Next time, let's talk about if we talk about me fuck. Oh no, near fuck.
Good idea.
Then there will be another thing. So we'll be like, "Pa, pa, 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 pa," like that. But the first things I think we have to greeting everyone because when we release this one would be between summer 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 in the south hemisphere. In for north hemisphere it's winter solstice and just before Christmas. So happy Christmas or holiday greeting, happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes. So, okay. So, Christian, what star and what constellation we are going to talk about today?
As you said, a very Venusian star
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
constellation. We are talking about Mirach and Andromeda. It's in Andromeda, the constellation.
Mm. So, I think it's very when people talk about Andromeda, if they are more into sci-fi or more into all those astronomy things, they will have impression. Looks like Andromeda is not far from us, right? The few star of it is not really far from us. I just have a quick check while we practice. The star we're talking about, Mirach, is not far from us. It's just only 197 light years. I think it's not far. It's not far. So today, as usual, I will start with a little bit, tiny bit astronomy. Also, give you some detail about astrologer may care, the degree and the this and that, and then also how Vivian Robson and Elizabeth everything how they interpret that. It's very interesting because when I show it to Christian, we just like it never happened before. So it's quite interesting. There is a, I don't want to say, I think they share very different views. So it's very interesting. So sure. And then I will hand to Christian. Christian will tell you most important things you have to know when you do the interpretation about the
And
Mirach.
then you, as always, can be very happy and surprised what Rod have to say about the Chinese version. And most of all, you can looking forward to really fantastic picks Rod had taken.
To be honest, may I ask you in front of everyone, do you have any planet conjunct with Mirach?
No, actually
Oh,
not.
okay, I'm
Actually not.
disappointed. He was so lovely. Today you were so you were just like wow, promoted. Okay. But
My
that
dear, it's Christmas.
thank you very much. I'm looking forward next year. Okay, well, should we start then? Let
Yes,
me share my PowerPoint. Okay, here we are. Here is I'm going to share with you the Mirach. Okay. Uh, Mirach and the constellation of Andromeda. And then the photo you will see later, and I will explain why I put this photo. Okay, the first things, Mirach is the uh, Beta Andromeda. So Christian will tell you who is Alpha, right? Okay, so it's in the constellation of Andromeda. Its magnitude is plus 2.05. Okay, remind you, the number is bigger, like 6, 7 would be the star would be dimmer. So if the number is going to 0 or minus, the star is brighter. Okay, so don't get it wrong. 2.05 is kind of a bright star. Uh, that's what I say. Astrologer may care. Astrologer really do care about the longitude or zodiac degree. And it change every year. Please don't next time if you discuss big star with other astrologer, please don't give them the reference of 19,000 record from Alan. The
Yes.
degree is 1 degree away, and you use a 5 degree orb, and I will just my jaw was dropped. Oh, it's just very personal. Sorry, this is not very Andromeda type. That this is very harsh. Okay, but anyway,
It isn't, but you're absolutely right because we always have to check the astronomy.
sure.
These are facts, and we can't do it as we want.
Yeah, yeah. I think to be honest, let me say that a lot of astrology when they talk about fixed star, they use the degree of 19,000 or even 2,000 is okay. 2,000 20 years ago, still fine. But they use 19,000 degree, you just like really, and then
Yes,
you give a 5 degree orb again.
yes,
Okay, that's a
yes,
very personal choice.
yes, yes, yes,
Talk about over is very personal choice. Okay, here is year 2000, year 2023. Sorry, year 2023. Its degree is 0 Taurus 42. And so, if you go back to, if you were born around like me, 1980, or I was born a little bit earlier, it's a 0 degree Taurus 07. And but if you are born like someone else in the 1960s, it's a 29 degree 51. Okay, and then I feel curious, and this has become one of a subject I'm researching because the so from the tropical zodiac view, the fixed star move with precession and slowly every 74, 75 years will move degree. So I was curious when it moved into Taurus. If that doesn't mean anything, that could be, the Taurus theme with Andromeda things. So it moved into 0 degree Taurus on 17th of June, 1970 at 5:26 a.m. Maybe not important, but I feel very interesting. I will do a little bit more research about around that time, what happened with, Taurus theme or Andromeda theme with a female, with, with maybe like Taurus money or food thingy. So let's go. Okay, I like stargazing, so I couldn't avoid to share the interesting news with you. At this moment, yes, when you see this, I mean, if you see our premium today, then, I mean, during the winter time, around November, December, January, after sunset, you step outside, you go to your garden, then you will be able to see Andromeda is really right in front of you, and depend on the the latitude where you are in. If you are like in maybe 20-ish or near the uh, uh, equator area, well, it would be really high in the sky. But if you like me and the Christian, we are a little bit far north, then it will more close to be, I mean, above horizon, but not too high up. So that is you can see Andromeda, and with Pegasus is very, very beautiful because you can find Pegasus first, find a square, then you find that he's a horse lake, and you find another lake, and don't get it wrong. That is not a lake, that's Andromeda. I think Christian will give you more detail. Okay. So this is other astrologer like to know. So uh what does Ptolemy or Robson or Elizabeth everything they thinking about Mirach? So according to Ptolemy, this is what you need to know is the nature of a Venus. Okay. Well, elevators is usually funny. I give Mars and Moon. That's very interesting. I don't discuss that. I avoid it. I think basically, if I read everything and and Vivian Robinson, they usually follow Ptolemy rather than Andromeda. Anyway, so and I'm not going to read it word by word because it's very simple. It gives a personal beauty, brilliance, beneficence, forgiveness, love, good in marriage. See what everything say? Well, many interesting, but still lovely, lovely, lovely. Happiness, love of company. I think, well, they really just do the interpretation of Venus and especially this lovely lady chain on the wall. Okay, I should not continue. I will think about something else.
But that's a premiere, isn't it? The first
Yes,
time we read something positive.
yes, I was surprised to be honest. Yeah, about all the amount of big star, I have impression about 98% of the description are uh death by the animal attack, poison, or violent death. I think if you give me 100 of big star, 98 will die in dangerous. That's why we really want to do another interpretation, and that's why we really need like Benedict Brady or Christian do the more research and give more meaning about it. This is what I surprised, and this is what I really surprised why Vivian Robinson and everything didn't follow these experts in the 1st century. Our lovely, usually I like him a lot, is Marcus Manilius because he usually interprets the big star and constellation according to mythology, but this time he follow it, and so he give a totally interesting view and totally opposite from everything. And the William Robinson, of course, he's a one century, so they just decide not to copy him. So the word is very difficult, and it's very difficult to read. Let me cut it very short. According Manilius, if people was born under the influence of Andromeda, will enjoy the other people's suffering, especially it looks like they enjoy the imprisonment, they enjoy the other people's death or punishment, or they are like they are guardian of a dungeon, or they are the the executor who carry out the execution, which is like oh my god, it's totally different. I mean, I don't know. I never see this before, so when I read it, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I want to share with everyone, and I want to see which way you choose. I
So
think that's yeah.
thank God back to normal.
Oh yes, thank God. If not, we were not used to it, and it's just like a happy love forever Christmas. Okay, I think this is my part, and Christian. So, what what is our interpretation? Oh, sorry. Here we
Oh,
are.
so start the PowerPoint. As Rod said Mirach is located in the constellation Andromeda, and more precisely on her left hip. And Mirach is only the brightest star in Andromeda when its darker companion does not move in front of the brighter one. And when this happens, Alpheratz is the brightest star in Andromeda. But Alpheratz was not assigned to Andromeda until the constellation was rearranged. And in terms of its astrological essence, Alpheratz, I think, belongs more likely to Pegasus. Mirach is therefore the star that carries the essence of Andromeda. And Andromeda consists of a chain of 4 stars that extend from the square of Pegasus. And as Rod said, we can see it right now very clearly in the sky. Translated from Greek, Andromeda means in the memory of a man.
What?
Yes, yeah. In the memory of a man. And in Greek mythology, as most of you might know, Andromeda is a member of the royal family. There we have King Cepheus and Queen Cassiopeia and Princess Andromeda and Prince Perseus. And Andromeda is the innocent victim who was punished for the hubris of her mother Cassiopeia. And Cassiopeia, depending on the tradition, I have to say, thought either herself or her daughter was more beautiful than the Nereids, the daughters of Poseidon. And to appease Poseidon, Andromeda was chained to a rock and was to be sacrificed to the sea monster Cetus to atone for the guilt of her mother Cassiopeia. Perseus rescued her at the last second, and both fell in love and married and had many children. And Mirach seems to be the quintessence of Princess Andromeda astrologically, and Mirach is yin energy, so open and receptive to ideas. Mirach can listen and can use this input creatively. Therefore, art, culture, and aesthetics are important here, and so Venus again. This star has a sense for color, dance, and fashion, Venus again. In myth, Andromeda is portrayed as a really passive woman, and she had done nothing and is nevertheless at the mercy of uncontrollable external forces. And from her mother's hubris to be sacrificed to the sea monster Cetus, to a rescue by Perseus, so Mirach could symbolize an aspect of life where we are caught up in circumstances beyond our control, I think. And with Mirach, one learns to live and let live, to laugh and let laugh. But this is also the principle of non-action from the Bhagavad Gita, or the principle of Wu Wei in Taoism. So non-action means not acting against the cosmic order. Non-action allows what is supposed to happen to happen. But Andromeda is not only symbolizes the helplessly chained princess, there is another fascinating level, I think. She is lying on her back, as you can see in the star map, spread-eagled, ready to surrender herself, and next to her is Perseus with his sword extended like a phallus and aiming at her genital region. So Andromeda shows her willingness to surrender, to be fertile, to embrace the masculine, the young Perseus, the receptive position of the fertile maiden who is ready to surrender and welcome a suitor. So this part of the sky, I think, is also about sex, and Bernadette Brady says the same thing. And actually, to be honest, I had it from her.
Mm-hmm.
Mirach wants and needs sensual input.
Mm-hmm.
And as Bernadette Brady says, the Greek were the first to put Andromeda in chains. And Andromeda therefore became a weak woman, like a plaything of fate, who needs a man to rescue her.
Ah.
And presumably she was put in chains at the same time as her mother Cassiopeia, who also was bound on her throne by the Greeks. And Mirach symbolizes the young, fertile princess who wants to be one with a lover in the world, I think. And on the shadow side, Mirach can also take on a helpless, dependent role. So you experience yourself as weak and you believe that you need other people to take care of you. So it's really an interesting star. A lot of Venus, but of course, Venus also on the shadow side.
Mm.
And now you can looking forward to this really fascinating second part, the Chinese constellations things, and
I
of course the nice astronomical pictures.
Oh, thank you. I really love the story, especially is a that's what I find things I do the stargazing and the learning the fixed star. I find out this important part of Greek mythology is helping us to memorize where is constellation. If I know the story about the Perseus, Andromeda, Cassiopeia, then I know they belong to the same family, and then it includes Cetus. Then I will know if I see Andromeda, I can looking forward to see Perseus, Cassiopeia, and the Cetus. So if you don't know about that, I think it's very interesting for our audience and for people who learn in the um, fixed stars or constellation, or if you are interested in stargazing. All the mythology in the Greek mythology is really a big part of it, to be honest, from my view, is a big part of it, help you to memorize where is the constellation. Like
Yes,
if you go through the Hercules story, and you will find that his 12 labor are all in a similar area.
yes,
Yeah. So okay, I'm going to share the Eastern view, especially from the Chinese culture view about this part of sky. Well, if you remember, I used to talking about the in ancient Chinese astrology or astronomy, whichever you like. They divide the celestial equator and eclipse area into four big parts. Each part belong to one magical animal. So, like from end of Virgo to early Sagittarius, a constellation, that you know what I say, it's belong to dragon. And this part is the from the let me say the tail from Pisces and Andromeda to Orion. This part belong to the tiger, represent to west part of the sky, related to autumn and related to the element metal. And but it's interesting. So this part of sky, as I say, the Orion is tiger's head. Orion is tiger's head and a phone leg. Well, so this part, uh, the constellation that mentioned formed between Andromeda and the Pisces is tiger's the back leg. So it called Kui. Well, Kui is the ancient Chinese word. You say the translation usually say leg, but it's more inner leg, inner part of leg. Okay, the inner side of leg, groin part. So that's the that's the inner part of leg, and because it's the shape is like this, so it looks like inner part of leg. And then another meaning, well, they call it. I think the other meaning is come from the shape. Okay, there is all this stuff all together. Really, to be honest, without help, you don't know which part is Pisces, which part is Andromeda. Let me help you. Upper part is Andromeda and lower part is Pisces. So, and this part is Pisces too. So here is Pisces, and here is Andromeda, and the Mirach is this one, the third one from the up. This is Mirach. Interestingly, so they call it because it looked like shoes. It looked like shoes, and also related to one part of I Ching, talking about stepping, tipping, stepping, tripping, stepping is this part, and related to tiger. So, but also the shape is like a look like a very round up, and they say it look like a fat pig, and to be honest, it's a good meaning with the abundance, a really lot of food or something. This part of sky is one most people say is related to storehouse or arsenal. Well, everything will related to army, war, fight in the Chinese astrology view. So you don't really ignore it, but it's arsenal where storage of arms or the storehouse where store the food and a lot of things. But interesting, very interesting. They also say this part is related to water area, like a ditch, like a canal.
Mm.
Especially most important is when we say if any part of stars in this mention is like a super bright or super dim, then that year we'll have a problem with the canal, river, or ditch problem. So this is the from Chinese view of Mirach. It's kind of a very different, but I think another lake with Andromeda, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Okay. So are you ready for the picture?
Yes.
Okay. Here I'm going to show. I'm not a really great astrophotographer, but I just try. This is the Andromeda Galaxy. So most people know about it. Where is Andromeda Galaxy? Let me point out for you. Okay, let me point out for you. So I think here, um, as Christian just showed, the square is the Pegasus, and here is the head of Andromeda, and here is Mirach. If you can find the Mirach, and you will find the Andromeda Galaxy because it's just right up. When you go up, and you will see. If you are in countryside where have a low light pollution from September to maybe January, February, you may able to see Andromeda Galaxy with your naked eye if you have a very good eyesight. Because when you see it in a low light pollution area, like this is why I like to go to Tenerife or any kind of a countryside, really, you can see it. It look like a little tiny orange cloud. And you will say, am I have my eyesight problem? No, it's just like a little tiny dust or little bit of blur thingy. And that Andromeda Galaxy, don't doubt yourself. You see the Andromeda Galaxy with your naked eye. Of course, it doesn't look like this. This you need a telescope, or believe me or not, this all these photo I took with a camera without telescope.
Wow.
Yeah, so this one I took use maybe the smaller, uh, 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 smaller zoom, and also I with a shorter exposure. Some photo, sometimes when you do the photo with the sky, like you take a photo of a Milky Way, just take a little bit longer exposure. You will see Andromeda Galaxy really brighten up and very beautiful. You don't need a spatial technique. And you should take a little bit longer exposure, maybe like 3 seconds, and you will see it. Especially if you have a wide angle lens. If you have a wide angle lens, you take 3 seconds, sorry, 3 seconds exposure time, then you will see the Andromeda really stand out. Okay. And so I took this photo is when I beginning to study to learn how to do the astrophotography in 2020. Year after, I took this photo, the up one, a little bit right, and then this is what I took this year when last time when we even we recording, I was in Tenerife. I was taking this photo, and this is just I think this is only maybe 2 hours photo. Then I blended it with all the other photo. Okay, this one I took. Yes, this one I took it in the Eltate volcano. The light pollution is something like very, very low. You can see whole sky, stars. So, and you can see a lot of detail of Andromeda Galaxy. I think it's quite interesting. I don't know. Well, some people used to watching the comic called Japanese comic called Senseiya. Well, there is a Zodiac fighter, and the Zodiac fighter, there's one is Andromeda Knight, Andromeda fighter. His arm or her arm. That's very interesting. They changed the sex. In the comic version, is a boy. In the animation TV version, become a lady, become a girl, and his or her arm is chained. And that is so interesting. It's a trend. So here is the another. I plan 3 nights, different photos together to make this one. I mean, I still need a lot of learning process, how to do the process photo, but this is the best thing I can do so far. Another Andromeda Galaxy photo. I really love it. It's easy. It's not difficult.
Really
Well,
fantastic.
thank you. But last thing I want to share is the similar few photo I took when I was in Tenerife. They are all easy target, to be honest. You think it's a fantastic for the astrophotograph for astrophotographer. This is the beginner level. This is the first one. You see the big picture. This is most people probably know the Orion Nebula. Orion Nebula. It's like a very beautiful, like a firebird, like a phoenix in the sky. And you will see here this one in front of it. I think this nebula called Running Man. Running Man. If you take more time, the dark and the blue part will become shows the dark part is like a man who is running. So this one called Running Man Nebula. And this is Orion Nebula. And I really like it. I'm quite pleased with this photo. And this one is also in the Orion. The lower right one is the Fourth Head Nebula, one of my favorite. And next to it is called Flame Nebula. They are usually took together. And this star is the one of the Orion Belt. What is the
Alnilam,
not Alina? Alina is the middle one. The first one is the uh
Alnitak.
yeah, Anitak. This Anitak. This photo of Anitak. For the upper one, this is in the triangular constellation called Triangular Galaxy. And it's another target very close to Andromeda, and it's another galaxy. Apparently, our Milky Way galaxy and the Triangular and the Andromeda Galaxy looks like we have influence to each other. We are like a kind of have like a orbit or something influence to each other. So it's our neighbor or cousin, we are same community, I think. So, well, that's
Thank
our,
you.
thank
Thank you
you. Thank
for
you, Jordan.
sharing this.
Thank you very much. This is our 12th episode. We did it for 1 year. I couldn't imagine that. I'm so happy to work with Christian. It is always, you share a lot of important information about how to give the um, fixed star and the constellation a new meaning about it. And so, well, I wish you and everyone a very, very good year of 2023 and enjoy your Christmas. Eat, drink, a lot of pudding, a lot of wine.
Yes, Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy New Year 2023.
Yeah. Okay, so we will coming back after New Year and we will bring you more interesting story about Pixar, more information, and I hope I'm able to show you more the astrophotography photo. This is one of my passions. Okay. Thank you everyone and see you next year. Bye bye.
Bye bye.